One is returning to Joint Base Andrews. This is after he departed. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the decision to return was made after takeoff when the crew aboard Air Force One identified a, quote, minor electrical issue and out of an abundance of caution decided to turn around.
So we understand the president will board another aircraft upon his return and continue on with his trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos. Of course, a lot of talk about Greenland right now. It's a big issue on this trip as well. So we understand how the president wants to get there to talk about some of these world issues. And we're hearing again a minor electrical issue. But right now, looking live here at the White House.
In the meantime, back here at home and now at 8 from L.A. to Philadelphia, protests shake up schools and workplaces. Thousands walk out in defiance of the Trump administration. Good evening, everybody. You are watching L.A. Live News tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Devine. It's called the Free America Walkout to protest ICE raids and other policies implemented by the president.
The protests also happening exactly 1 year since President Trump took office for his second term. Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Laskos. He's there in downtown L.A. with the latest. Are the protests long over now, Ed?
Yeah, they ended over here a couple of hours ago, Marla, but certainly we're talking about a nationwide protest and certainly widespread right through the Southland. Very large one taking place and ending a little while ago over here on the steps of L.A. City Hall. Let's get to it, give you a better look. To the video we go. This is the scene. You've got the protesters, a good 100 or so strong, taking over the steps there at City Hall right off North Spring Street. There's signs and a big sign they unfurled on top of the steps. It read, "Stop ICE Terror." Gives you an idea about the message and the emotion of these protesters. From here and the steps of L.A. City Hall, they march slowly through the streets of downtown. Other protests all over the place. Burbank, large one over there near Lincoln Park. The signs, they're beating drums, chanting "ICE must go, no more ICE." Interesting that it was really the protest with the organizers really in defiance of what the Trump administration has been doing. But here through the Southland, these protests really took aim at an anti-ICE protest. You talk about the one over in Pasadena near the Paseo, one down in Santa Ana, one over in Venice, several right through the San Fernando Valley, all different locations, but all with the very same message and the same emotion. Listen to some of this.
This is an ICE protest. This is an ICE protest on Colorado.
ICE continues to kill people in the facilities on our streets, and we can't take it anymore. We can't take another year of the Donald Trump administration.
The ICE, essentially Gestapo, brown shirts, Nazis that are rounding up brown people, immigrants.
And now live, lots of emotion here. The protesters vow that they're not going anywhere. Their fight against the Trump administration, and particularly in our area about those ICE raids that continue unstoppable at this point, as one of the protesters was saying. The only way they're going to stop it, they say, is to get a lot more people out here on the streets. To that end, ladies, they're calling for another big protest here Friday, a walkout in support of the people in Minnesota and the extreme ICE crackdown that's been happening in that area. But certainly all of this happening today, the message is very clear. But police agencies right through the Southland reporting no problems, no arrest.
Any response from the Trump administration?
The only thing we had earlier was that President Trump himself was talking at the White House about marking the first year of his second term, the accomplishments, talking about the situation, the fatal shooting in Minnesota, but also saying that the ICE agents are just trying to get criminals off the street. Basically, the president doubling down that the ICE raids will continue.
All right, more on the president to come later. Thank you so much. An update tonight on a barricaded suspect in a West L.A. home. We broke this story at 5. Police say the suspect is now in custody. Sky Fox over the scene earlier today. We see a lot of LAPD and those Bearcats there. This is Brockton Avenue right off of Bundy near Stoner Park, not too far from Fox 11 here. Police say the suspect was a woman who had a knife. She's been barricaded in that home for almost 3 hours. That's a very residential neighborhood there with some buildups there, like a larger home that's been built. Look at police there moving in with their guns drawn. This lasted almost 3 hours. No word on any injuries. Again, that woman in custody.
New at 8, the nation's largest homeless count begins tonight in Los Angeles. The 2026 Greater LA homeless count runs through Thursday, covering most of LA County except Long Beach, Glendale, and Pasadena. Organized by the LA Homeless Services Authority, or Lassa, the count helps track homelessness in the region. Thousands of volunteers are taking part. At a press conference tonight in downtown LA's Fashion District, officials said progress has been made in reducing homelessness, but it's at risk.
This month, we were forced to pause time-limited subsidies, which are a rental subsidy, one of the most fastest and most effective tools in moving people from the street into stable housing.
Basic services like mental health, substance abuse treatment, social services, the county is funded to provide those services. The city is not.
Last year's count showed homelessness decreasing for the second year in a row. However, it's unclear if that trend will continue. We'll have more details on this story from Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf. Meantime, LA County officially launches a new department aimed at tackling the homeless crisis.
The goal is to give the Board of Supervisors better oversight of the money being spent on homelessness. Fox 11's Nick Garcia explains how the new department will work.
Homelessness is a top issue in Los Angeles County, and now the LA County Board of Supervisors says the answer is a new Department of Homeless Services and Housing, headed by Sarah Mann.
We are making the county's response clearer, faster, and more accountable to the people and to the communities that we serve.
Supervisors Catherine Barger and Lindsay Horvath worked to get the new department started after failures within the LA Homeless Services Authority.
We aren't just standing up a new department to take all the problems that existed at Lassa and bring them over here. We are trying to untangle the mess and make sure that we're starting out with a clean slate and doing the things that work.
Depending on where that request is for, it'll go to the appropriate staff person here.
The new department is asking the Board of Supervisors to approve a hefty budget, more than $820 million, much of it from Measure A, an increase to sales tax passed by voters in 2024. But now the public will be able to track where the money is going through online dashboards.
Accountability now ends with the board. We are bringing in the money as it relates to the measure, and it's important for us to recognize that the buck is going to stop with us.
Every dollar spent on housing, care, and other services will be overseen by the Board of Supervisors, and the department vows to keep the public informed.
So you can see how many people are moving off the streets, how many people with serious mental illness and substance use are going into housing, and we'll continue to roll out that kind of information.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
New tonight, a South LA man was in court today facing federal terrorism charges. Dante Anthony Garfield and 3 others are accused of plotting to bomb Southern California targets on New Year's Eve 2025. Authorities say the plan was stopped weeks before it could happen. Federal officials are continuing their investigation into the alleged plot.
Well, a noticeable change in our weather as we give you a live look from atop Mount Wilson. Yes, it's cooler out there and along the coast. It was socked in earlier. Let's check in with meteorologist Star Harvey. Hi, Star.
Hello there. You know, we are headed in this week, the rest of this week, with cooler conditions, but also the chance for some precipitation arriving out there right now. We do still have high pressure close enough to get us through the remainder of this Tuesday, but the fog has already began to settle in across some of our coasts, especially up near the Ventura area and down through, I'd say, portions of Santa Monica as well. In fact, here's a look at that visibility. We are seeing those impacts across the Santa Monica area. So right now, visibility at about 4 miles. The further inland you go into about Santa Ana, we do have visibility at about 3 miles there. Continue to keep my eyes on it and see how it unfolds, but we are expecting the patchy fog to be in place through the remainder of tonight and into tomorrow morning as well. We're at 57 degrees right now at LAX, 55 down in Torrance. Anaheim, you're at 66 degrees, and over in San Bernardino, 61. Our winds, they've been on the calmer side through the majority of our Tuesday. Our sustained winds moving right now at about 3 to 10 miles per hour, slightly a little bit more down there in Huntington Beach. Gusts, no problem right now at this hour. I did go ahead and check for us. As we shift gears into tonight, a look at our lows, positioning themselves in the upper 40s to low 50s for most of us. Again, we do have a wet pattern headed this way as early as Thursday, and then temperatures dropping as early as tomorrow. I have those details coming up for you when I return. Back to you.
All right, Star, thank you. And a story you saw first on Fox 11. We are learning new details about a mosquito infestation in El Segundo. We have reached out to county officials. They sent us a statement that reads in part, operations staff at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant are in coordination with El Segundo city officials and county vector control to proactively and aggressively mitigate any possible impacts from the Hyperion plant. All right, still ahead at 8, a major development in the case of actor Timothy Busfield, who's now facing child sex abuse charges.
Los Angeles gearing up for the World Cup. Coming up, why new U.S. visa policies are becoming a major concern for soccer fans.
New details tonight on that crash involving a Waymo near LAX. Waymo says the driverless taxi was going through a green light when another car tried to make a left turn directly into its path. The company says the Waymo braked and swerved to stop from crashing, but still hit the car. One person was inside the Waymo at the time, but got out and left the scene. 2 people were reportedly inside the other car. Both are expected to be okay.
Federal prosecutors argued today that former Dodgers player Yasiel Puig made bets with an illegal gambling operation, then lied about it to investigators. This is Puig there outside the courthouse this morning before his trial began. Puig allegedly placed 899 wagers on sporting events in 2019 and lost nearly $283,000. The 35-year-old is charged with obstruction of justice and making false statements to investigators. Puig could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted on all charges. As Los Angeles gets ready for the upcoming World Cup, new visa requirements are confusing some of the international visitors planning to come our way. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reports from SoFi Stadium, where 8 FIFA World Cup matches will be held this summer.
La Plaza will serve as Casa Mexico.
Mayor Karen Bass announcing that downtown LA's Plaza de Cultura y Artes will serve as Mexico's hospitality house for the world in LA.
It's going to be a community-centered, cultural, and free space open to everyone.
The big announcement coming a day before the U.S. begins a freeze on visas processing for 75 countries, including several that already qualified for the World Cup, like Brazil.
Will be difficult for a lot of us in Brazil to come to U.S. They are a little bit afraid to the situation right now.
The editor of LA's Sol Brazil magazine worries about a proposed U.S. rule which would require reviewing an applicant's social media history going back 10 years, including emails for 5 years.
Security and hospitality can and will coexist.
That message from the executive director for the White House Task Force on the World Cup, who says the system offering expedited tourist visa appointments will be running by the end of January. Short-term stays are not affected by the visa freeze going into effect tomorrow. What do all these visa requirement changes mean for World Cup visitors? Silva says that for people coming from his country,
I believe that the Brazilians will come, but not in the way that they usually goes before for all the World Cups in the past.
some advice here. Well, check the country's status first. What visa is needed, it depends on that nation. Apply as early as possible, of course. Remember that, FIFA ticket holders may get priority for interview appointments as a FIFA pass. And, of course, though, the World Cup ticket does not guarantee the U.S. entry. 8 of the games will actually be played right here at SoFi Stadium. We'll keep you updated on the visa changes. I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
New at 8, the Red Cross is offering a chance to win some tickets to the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. The organization says it's facing a major shortage as winter puts pressure on the blood supply. The Red Cross says anyone who gives blood through January 25th will be automatically entered for a chance to win a trip for 2 to Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. And anyone who gives blood between January 26th and February 28th will get a $20 gift card. The Super Bowl is February 8th. And this Sunday, you can see the Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. It's right here on Fox 11. Kickoff is at 3:30.
Earlier this month, President Trump gave banks a January 20th deadline to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. Well, today is January 20th, and so far, not much has changed. Fox's Connor Hansen takes a look.
President Trump says he doesn't want people getting ripped off by credit card companies charging high interest rates, directing companies to cap rates at 10% by January 20th. Banks say this would eat away at their profits, but some researchers think it could save consumers billions.
We have done a lot to deregulate banks. Their earnings are way up. More importantly, it has increased their lending capacity.
Now that deadline is coming and going without much fanfare. While business and political leaders are in Davos this week for the World Economic Forum, some banks say they don't fully understand the new rule. Bank of America's CEO told Fox Business they're already working on ways to make their products more affordable.
We have a no-frills credit card. It's higher than 10%, but it's much lower than the regular rates. So there's a lot of things you can do in affordability.
JP Morgan's CFO offered a more blunt assessment.
People will lose access to credit, like on a very, very extensive and broad basis, especially the people who need it the most.
Administration officials hope big banks will act on their own to accommodate the new policy.
So our expectation is that it won't necessarily require legislation because there'll be really great new trump cards presented for folks that are voluntarily provided by the banks.
So far, the White House has not laid out what the consequences will be for banks if they don't go along. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
All right, we want to get back to that breaking news. Here's a live look. This is Air Force One. It has just touched down back in D.C., where it took off just about an hour ago. This is after it had some sort of what the press secretary is calling a minor electrical issue. That's from Caroline Leavitt. They discovered that something was not right, so they felt better out of an abundance of caution to turn the plane around as it was bound for Switzerland, where he is set to speak Wednesday, tomorrow, at the World Economic Forum.
So a reporter there on board says the lights in the press cabin went out soon after takeoff. There we have people coming off the plane there. Not a full explanation given to everyone, but we do know that plane was turned around. They're going to have the president get onto another plane to continue on to that trip to Davos for the World Economic Forum. So as we watch here, we're kind of waiting to see if President Trump comes off the plane here. Doors are open. And, you know, better safe than have any kind of bigger issue happen. They're calling it, again, a minor electrical issue. And they weren't too far into the flight, so it's quite easy to turn around and just kind of be safe.
Yeah, and two planes, interesting to note, currently used as Air Force One, have been flying for almost 4 decades, so about 40 years old, these planes. Boeing has been working on replacements, but the program has faced a series of delays, so they are just stuck with these. You may recall last year, the ruling family of Qatar gifted President Trump a luxury Boeing 747 jumbo jet to be added into the Air Force One fleet. Of course, that move faced great scrutiny. Well, that plane is currently being retrofitted to meet security requirements. Now, I'm bringing this up because Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joked to reporters on Air Force One tonight that a Qatari jet was sounding, quote, much better right now.
Well, we do know it's a very big meeting that's going to be happening with the world leaders regarding the economy and Greenland and the tariff threat. So it's really a big meeting that's been in the news in recent days here in Switzerland. A lot of world leaders have been commenting on the president's thought of tariffs, and the president not backing down on saying the U.S. wants Greenland. So we'll have more on that big issue, that big forum that's happening. But right now, the president's got to get there. So he's got to get back on another plane and get to the location there. So we're not sure who these people are that are coming off the plane. Still waiting to see if we actually see the president here during our newscast.
Yeah, so again, his special address is expected to happen, if all goes as planned, before the World Economic Forum tomorrow. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he is warning Europe against retaliation. This is, of course, in relation to Trump's plan to take over Greenland. He has meetings with global CEOs at the reception in Davos. National security advisors are there, going to be meeting in Davos as well. And also China's vice premier is also going to give a special address and meet CEOs. So a lot to come in the coming days. And then Governor Gavin Newsom, he made headlines there today when he went after President Trump, which he often does. He likened him to a T-Rex and said, either you eat him or you mate with him. And that's made headlines as well. And Governor Gavin Newsom, he is expected to speak the day after Trump speaks. So that would be on Thursday.
So this is not the first time we've had a public official be on a plane that had to turn around. Last February, an Air Force plane carrying Secretary of State Marco Rubio to Germany had to return to Washington because of a mechanical issue. In October, a military plane carrying Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had to make an emergency landing in the United Kingdom due to a crack in the windshield. But it's not every day that you hear the President of the United States being on Air Force One and a plane has to turn around. Again, they're calling it a minor electrical issue, and they want to get the president onto a different plane to continue that trip.
We're sticking with the shot, hoping that we'll get an actual shot of President Trump exiting Air Force One to be then hurried to another plane to take off to Davos again. So obviously Secret Service is there. There's the reporters who fly with them and everyone else on board. We don't have an actual head count, but we are hoping to see him step off the plane, all because of this minor electrical issue. Out of an abundance of caution, forced to turn around about an hour into the flight to Switzerland. And of course, if you look at the time here, it's almost 11:30 at night there.
So we have some press people who have been talking about what happened there, and they said, I believe the lights went out there. So that's part of the minor electrical issue. Honestly, we don't have a lot of information beyond that right now, folks. We're trying to get more information here. Yeah, Marley, you have an update?
Well, no, I was struck by the fact that it's a 8.5-hour flight from D.C. to Davos, Switzerland. So he's got a long night ahead of him either way. So we'll see if his remarks get pushed back depending on how long this takes one way or the other.
Right now, we're just kind of on hold here as we wait to see if the president comes off the plane with his team. Again, this is Andrews Air Force Base right here, the door open. You haven't seen many people come off that plane. What you really have seen is a flurry of people come on, come off. I'm wondering, Marla, if there's any attempt to fix this minor electrical issue and continue on with this plane here, or with this backup plane, if they're calling it backup plane. Is it at the ready? How long does it take for that plane to be ready to go? All right, so the camera's shaking there a little bit, so why don't we step off this shot here, continue on with our newscast, and bring you back more information as we get it. More news when we come back.
All right, the California GOP filing an emergency petition with the Supreme Court to block Prop 50 from moving forward. The prop is a voter-approved measure that redraws the state's congressional maps. The filing asks the court to issue an injunction which would temporarily reinstate the old maps while the Prop 50 legal case plays out in court. The filing also asks the Supreme Court to make a decision by February 9th, stating that is the start of California's candidate filing period.
Coming up, customers sent running in a local laundromat after a man storms in, swinging around a machete. My witness says at one point the man was targeting his son.
Across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Well, welcome back. Our top story this half hour, a man armed with a machete storms a Pomona laundromat, threatening a teenage boy and shattering glass.
They've all started over what the boy was wearing. Fox 11's Gina Silva has that story from Pomona.
What started as a routine morning at this laundromat in Pomona turned into chaos, and it was all captured on video.
I think that he was on drugs, highly erratic, very aggressive.
Armed with a machete, this man storms into Super Wash and Dry on Fairplex Drive in Pomona on Saturday morning, yelling at the owner's 16-year-old son.
He was just saying a lot of, I think it was like, F the West Side or something like that.
The armed intruder appears enraged, targeting the teenager because he's wearing a red 49ers jersey.
Well, he did point out to my son when he kind of turned the corner here, and he told him to get that red shirt off.
Customers begin to run as they realize there's a lunatic with a machete inside the laundromat, making threats and swinging the weapon.
I had a couple customers on that side locking the building, and then I don't have a deadbolt on this side of the building, so I had to hold those doors shut. And so he came up to the door and continued on with the same rhetoric from before about the red, since I had a red hat on at the time, and decided to take a swing at the window.
The glass shatters, and he continues ranting, then makes what appears to be gang signs before finally walking away.
It was very crazy. It's very scary, but then again, people are like cracked out, doing Lord knows what on the street.
By Tuesday afternoon, Pomona police are back at Super Wash and Dry, downloading security video to help identify the suspect.
To me, that was nothing but drugs.
If you recognize him, contact the Pomona Police Department. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
New at 8, a major drug bust in the Inland Empire leads to the arrest of a Moreno Valley man. After a 2-month investigation, authorities seized about 350 pounds of meth, multiple firearms and cash linked to a Mexico-based trafficking ring. 36-year-old Sergio Sanchez is identified as a key player, allegedly storing and distributing drugs across the state. He now faces multiple charges, including drug possession with armed enhancements.
A man is found shot to death in a black pickup truck in East L.A. Sky Fox over the scene earlier this morning near Southwoods Avenue near Telegraph Road. No word tonight on any arrests. Deputies are asking anyone with information to come forward. Developing tonight, Emmy-winning actor Timothy Busfield is out of jail, awaiting trial on child sex abuse charges. A New Mexico judge ruled prosecutors didn't prove he's a public safety risk. His wife, right there, Melissa Gilbert, the actress, was tearful in court as the decision was announced. The allegations involved 2 boys from the set of Fox's The Cleaning Lady. The 68-year-old Busfield denies the claims, calling them lies, while his lawyer suggests financial motives after the boys lost their roles on the show. Prosecutors say the boys' accounts are backed by evidence and an alleged pattern of misconduct. Busfield will be supervised at home until trial. The details tonight, we're hearing from the man who was arrested for painting crosswalks at dangerous intersections across L.A.
Johnny Hale speaking out after his court appearance today. Hale is with the activist group People's Vision Zero. Last month he was handcuffed and searched for painting a crosswalk in West L.A. Hale was cited for vandalizing city property. Since May, members of the group have been painting crosswalks all over the city after they say officials never responded to their request for safety improvement. Hale says he knew he would eventually get in trouble, but did not expect to get arrested.
When this happened, I was surprised, but also not surprised. I knew that the bubble would pop sometime or the other. I'm just kind of shocked that it ended up with me in cuffs. They pretty much said that they weren't going to pursue the criminal case, but the statute of limitations is open for another year until December 7th, 2026. So they can change their mind, and I do risk arrest if I do this again.
Hale says he hopes to work with the city and mayor's office to create a citizen-led safety committee as a way to bring communities together.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
Let's talk weather now and a change. I'm thinking it looks cooler out there already, Star Harvey.
Yeah, it does look cooler because it is cooler out there. And as we shift gears into tomorrow, as we wake up, we'll have a little bit more of that patchy fog like what we do see across some of the Santa Monica area. But also the cooler trend, it will arrive for us during our afternoons as well. So not just during our overnight hours. We do have those clouds passing by across the area. A lot more of us did have that in the forecast for today, and it is going to still be there as we move through the rest of this week. So the cooling trend due to start place tomorrow, and it will carry us through the end of our week here. Now we also have some rain chances in the forecast, and we are talking light rain to drizzle, and this will be for Thursday into our Friday, and possibly some of that lingering into our early morning Saturday. After the weekend, we are looking at another round of sunshine, dry conditions, but also temperatures back on the warm up. As far as our temperatures went today, we did tie for some old records of 81 degrees, our normal of 68 degrees. We went ahead and beat that out once again, but that should be the last day this week where we do see that happen across the LA area. So not just 80s in LA, we had 80s out to the east of us, but also down into our low deserts. A lot cooler up across our high deserts. Temperatures starting off in the 60s for us this week. And along the coastline, a lot of us did see our temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. Making our way through the rest of this evening, the patchy fog, but also the cloud cover. We'll be waking up to that tomorrow morning. We do have this heavy band of clouds moving in, all of this ahead of our next disturbance. That disturbance is due to arrive for us during the second half of our Thursday. So moving into our afternoon and yes, our evening hours. As of right now, our rain chances on Thursday about a 20%. And then as we do move into not just Friday, but also Saturday, those rain chances dropping off to about 10% each day. We're not talking looking much in terms of accumulation, not a major rainmaker. In fact, as you can see of our key here, we're expecting to see about 1/10 of an inch or less, and not everyone receives that. It's why we do have such small percentage chances for this storm system that is expected to move through. After that, we are in the clear, but it will not be until the second half of our weekend, and even moving into Saturday, most of that should be lingering for the morning hours. Temperatures tomorrow in the 70s, and from Wednesday through the remainder of this weekend into the start of our weekend, our temperatures are expected to drop down closer to their averages, which is going to put LA and the inland Orange County area back into the 60s through the rest of our week. As far as the coastline, you'll be in the 60s tomorrow, and then we are expecting to see your temperatures hold in the 60s at least through the weekend. Back to you.
All right, tonight, President Trump marks 1 year since he was sworn into office for a second term. Fox 11's Chad Pergram looks back at the president's legislative accomplishments and some of his controversies during the past 12 months.
A year ago, President Trump pledged to secure the border and pass the big, beautiful bill.
The motion is adopted.
Congressional Republicans squeezed his hallmark legislative accomplishment to passage, despite a tight House majority.
They underestimated us all the time, every day, because our margin is so small.
Democrats plan to boomerang the bill on Republicans.
The reason why that one big ugly bill is so unpopular is because they enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history.
There were raucous confirmation hearings.
I am pro-safety. This is a job where it is life and death.
But the Senate confirmed the president's top cabinet positions faster than during his first term.
We're here voting on a Saturday. We voted Friday night.
The president left it up to Congress to end the record 43-day government shutdown.
The Democrats should just do a simple extension. The Democrats are holding it up.
After criticism that they are rubber stamps, some Republicans now challenge the president. Colorado Republican Lauren Boebert took on President Trump after he vetoed a water bill, which passed unanimously.
So did President Trump break his promise?
I'm going to make sure that he doesn't.
But the most outspoken Republicans who criticize the president are retiring.
This national security strategy was a total blunder.
I've yet to hear from this administration a single thing we need from Greenland.
I'm critical of the bad advice he's getting on Greenland.
The GOP wants to address affordability this year, but that's hard before the midterms. Republicans fear that tactics by ICE undercut the president's success at the border. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
And here at the state level, Fox 11 is co-hosting a gubernatorial debate. We're teaming up with our Bay Area sister station, KTVU, and the Black Action Alliance to host the race for California governor, scheduled for Tuesday, February 3rd. It'll be held in San Francisco. You can watch it live on Fox 11 from 5:30 to 8, and you can stream it on the Fox Local app. I will serve as one of 3 moderators, and we do want to hear from you. You can scan the QR code to submit a question for the candidates. We've received a whole slew of questions. Keep them coming. We appreciate it. A lot of good questions coming from you. We have more information online at foxla.com.
Social experiment inside a San Francisco payphone. A modified payphone's been put up on a city street. It's called the Party Line, trying to get conversations started and connect people who may not share the same political views. Look at the sign there. It says, on the phone, sign invites people to talk to a Republican. The line's connected to a similar phone in Abilene, Texas, one of the most politically conservative parts of the county. People there are encouraged to chat with a Democrat.
Brutal, the divisions that this is doing. And until it hits close to home, people aren't going to realize, but this is kind of bringing people closer in a way.
The group Matter Neuroscience, a tech startup, is behind the experiment. Organizers are recording the calls, hoping that connections will demonstrate that we are more alike than different.
I would love to see the result of that. What a great idea.
My thought is a payphone, a public phone like that, it'd be fun just to pick it up and talk to somebody about anything there, right?
Yeah, old school.
I mean, if you've got the time, you're passing by, could be kind of fun to have a conversation.
I appreciate the play on words, too, of how it's named, the Party Line.
Yes, very clever.
Yeah,
got it.
All right, coming up, the road to recovery is a long one for many Altadena residents, but a group of students are helping meet the need.
How they're putting their skills to test to help a local family.
Many people still on the road to recovery after the Eaton wildfire destroyed thousands of homes and livelihoods.
Rebuilding is underway, and as Fox 11's Mario Ramirez tells us, local students are putting their skills to work to help one family start over.
Everything has got like a very elevated fire rating, so part of the vaulted ceiling is to like close the attic.
What is happening today, it is quite the sight to see. We're looking at students from Los Angeles Trade Tech College getting started helping to rebuild this home here.
So 3 feet by 5 feet.
So grateful. It's so beautiful. I can see my mountains and my home again. And I thank all of you. You're all wonderful.
Absolutely.
I used to watch President Carter years ago with Habitat. And I never dreamed that I would be a recipient of it.
This is part of a Build Day effort led by the Los Angeles Community College District, partnering with the San Gabriel Habitat for Humanity. This has a personal feel for so many of the faculty and staff that are out here on site today.
That's correct. You know, we unfortunately did not escape the wildfires. We had over 6,000 of our own students that had to be evacuated. Hundreds of them actually lost their homes or lost housing. Dozens of our faculty and staff unfortunately lost other homes as well. So this is personal to us, to LACCD.
What type of work are we going to be seeing that these students have learned throughout the programs that they've been in?
Students are helping frame this house, and so that means really the core elements of what it takes to have a home are being installed. You see the foundation is laid. They're filling in gaps of the foundation now to make sure that it's solid.
It's such a sad time, but it's an exciting time too, you know, like just to see how it's going to all work out. But the bottom line is we're all together, man, and everybody's safe, and that's it.
More than 6,000 homes were destroyed in the Eaton fire, and according to LA County, more than 500 are currently under construction. In Altadena, I'm Mario Ramirez, Fox 11 News.
You'll love this one, too. Guitar company Fender and Habitat for Humanity are turning wildfire recovery into music by crafting guitars from trees damaged in the Eaton fire. These limited edition instruments are being auctioned to fund rebuilding homes and supporting families affected by wildfires. Every dollar raised goes to recovery efforts in the San Gabriel Valley. Bidding is already underway. It ends on February 4th. Right now, the bids have hit $7,200. And Habitat for Humanity, they do such great work.
She mentioned the Carter administration. Yeah. You were out there with the Jimmy Carter and Habitat
when he
for
came
Humanity.
to Watts.
Yes.
Yeah, did a huge build, like 20 homes in one week. It was really amazing. The homes are still standing. All right, it's hard to get into the minds of kids and what they truly think is important.
But a new study shows what they really value, and the results are telling. Fox 11's Sandra Endo takes a closer look.
When it comes to what kids want, it's pretty simple. Security.
Young people are valuing above all else being safe.
And that comes in different forms. A new survey from UCLA's Center for Scholars and Storytellers finds young people between the ages of 10 and 24 value safety the most.
School safety and gun violence in schools continues to be a concern for them and their parents on a daily basis. Them being able to kind of perceive and articulate that safety is so important to them year after year for us is really telling that they are aware, they're paying attention. They do want adults and people around them to know that they kind of see what's going on in the world and they want to be protected and they want to feel safe.
It's not only safety from violence, but also economic security as well.
We found that most young people, almost 60%, do want a traditional kind of version of the American dream and financial security in terms of their jobs. But the biggest barrier to that is economic security and their access to kind of economic, socioeconomic mobility. So I think that economic instability is absolutely contributes to their sense of not being safe and not feeling stable as they grow up.
The next most important value for young people, kindness and empathy.
Being kind to others and having empathy and accepting themselves. They want to see that more and more, and they want to exhibit that in their peer communities, in their schools. They're in really competitive environments in terms of school and getting into college. So they really want to find a way to accept themselves for who they are and accept their peers and be authentic and be able to show up in the world authentically and not be sort of put down or condemned for just being themselves.
And let's not forget, they're young, so having fun is key. partly because it serves as connection.
It's important for adults to see that it's okay for young people to have fun.
Adults can take a cue from the next generation to listen to their needs, keep them safe, and be hopeful the future will be full of compassion and care. Sandra Endo, Fox 11 News.
To be a kid again. We still have more news ahead at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up at 9. How a stray dog was handled in the city of Corona has some residents upset, especially after seeing this video. What Animal Control is saying tonight. Plus, nature lighting up in Northern California. Stunning pictures of the Aurora Borealis. That's ahead at 9. New at 8, rapper A$AP Rocky is going on a world tour. The Don't Be Dumb tour kicks off in May and will make a stop right here in LA on June 27th at the Kia Forum. The pre-sale for tickets begins Friday and the public sale opens January 27th.
Rachel McAdams!
She is known for so many blockbusters. Rachel McAdams now is a star on the Walk of Fame. Star unveiled near the El Capitan Theater comes 10 days before her latest movie, Send Help. Co-star Dylan O'Brien, director Sam Raimi, and actor Donald Gleason attended the ceremony. Okay, I love her work.
Yes, which movie would you say would be your favorite?
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, that was
great.
good.
Wedding Crashers.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got a great body of work. Canadian actress.
The Notebook. Oh, you should see her eyes.
The Notebook. Oh my gosh, have you never seen The Notebook?
It's at the Pantages right now, too.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, bring your tissue, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet.
LA Live News tonight continues at 9 o'clock. Right after the break, we'll see you then.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9, protests erupt coast to coast as thousands walk out of schools and workplaces, taking a stand against the Trump administration and its policies. We're live with what happened today in downtown LA. And a controversial encounter with animal control. A dog's run-in has a neighborhood outraged. The city says it's no big deal, but residents tell a different story. Plus,
coming up, volunteers are checking in for Lassa's annual count of the homeless. Tonight, we hit the streets to see how people out there are taking all of this in.
And we're live from the coast of the Inland Valleys. Meteorologist Star Harvey with a preview of what's on the horizon.
Well, we can expect that our temperatures are getting ready to cool off. We do have a disturbance that is heading in, going to drop those temperatures for the remainder of this week, but also bring in a chance for some light rain to drizzle. All that and details coming up.
All right, Star, thank you. Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News Tonight at 9 o'clock. I'm Marla Tejas. Now at 9, from LA to Philadelphia, protests shake up schools and workplaces. Thousands walking out in defiance of the Trump administration. It's called the Free America Walkout to protest ICE raids and other policies implemented by the president. Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos. He's in downtown LA with the latest tonight. Ed?
And Marla, nationwide protest, but certainly widespread right through our area, right through the Southland. Large protests taking place right over here on the steps of LA City Hall. In fact, let's get right to that. You can see for yourself. To the video we go as you hear the footsteps going by. And you hear the crowd chanting, but only from the helicopter from Skyfox. The large crowd down there on the steps on North Spring Street, chanting, ICE must go. And then they unfurl a big sign that says, Stop ICE Terror. And then that rally turned into a march through the streets of downtown L.A. This another rally, yet one of many over in Burbank near Lincoln Park. Large one also in Pasadena near the Paseo. On and on. I could mention Santa Ana. I could mention Venice. Several locations through the San Fernando Valley. All the same energy, blowing horns, chanting ICE must go. No more ICE. Really defiant of the ICE immigration crackdown. It was supposed to be a rally today to mark the second year of the president's term in office and the defiance of what the president has been doing, but really it turned into an anti-ICE protest right through our area. Same message in all the different locations, and I'll tell you, the same emotion. Listen.
This is an ICE protest. This is an ICE protest on Colorado.
ICE continues to kill people in the facilities, on our streets, and we can't take it anymore. We can't take another year of the Donald Trump administration.
The ICE, essentially Gestapo, brown shirts, Nazis that are rounding up brown people, immigrants.
And now live, very emotional day. In fact, a lot of the protesters say they are planning to be back out on the streets this Friday, a walkout as they're calling it, through the afternoon hours to show support for the people of Minnesota and the large ICE crackdown there following that deadly shooting. But Marla, interesting, with all of these different protests and marches through our area today, they lasted several hours, but all the law enforcement agencies in those cities saying no arrest, really turned out to be a very peaceful day.
I mean, that's great to be able to report. Are there more such protests planned in the coming days?
Yeah, we were talking about the one this Friday. The organizers here were urging everybody to hit the streets, to walk out this Friday in support of, as they say, the people in Minnesota following the deadly shooting there by the ICE agent and the extreme ICE crackdown. So that's what we're looking at. The next one would be coming up this Friday afternoon, our time.
All right. I'm sure we'll be covering that. Ed Lascos, thanks so much. On to this now. This is in regards to that. This all comes as protests against ICE continue across the country, with demonstrations in Philadelphia blocking an ICE facility, and Minnesota police raising concerns about civil rights violations tied to ICE tactics. Meantime, federal subpoenas are focusing on top Minnesota Democrats, including Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison, as the Justice Department investigates possible obstruction of federal officers. New at 9, President Trump's Air Force One returned to Joint Base Andrews shortly after takeoff due to a minor electrical issue. We had this as breaking news during LA Live News Tonight last hour. The White House says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution, And the president will continue his trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, on another plane. We saw that plane, the other plane being boarded, so they could be up in the air again, headed to Davos, Switzerland. We'll keep a watch. California's U.S. senators are sounding the alarm over conditions at the state's largest immigration detention center in California City. After a site visit earlier today, Senators Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff cited inadequate medical and mental health care. Schiff described meeting a diabetic detainee who went 2 months without treatment. The facility is run by for-profit private prison company Core Civic and holds more than 1,400 people. Core Civic reportedly donated more than $800,000 in 2024 to Trump-related political groups.
You get to see what happens to folks who are apprehended by ICE. As far as I can tell, the vast majority of the folks in this detention facility have no prior criminal history.
A lot of folks, as they first entered into custody, had some sort of condition. You can imagine the experience of being detained, being threatened with deportation.
Both senators stress the need for better oversight. California's Attorney General has also warned of dangerous conditions at the site, which opened last year under a federal contract. Core Civic denies the claim, saying it provides adequate care. New at 9, residents outraged over this video. They say shows Corona Animal Services officers using unnecessary force and traumatizing a dog. The city is refuting those claims about the dog that was reported to Animal Services. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon, she's live there in Corona with a look at the incident that was captured on video. Rachel.
Yeah, Marlon, something you can see from that video, just to be clear, is that there's a YMCA youth center right next to this apartment complex. Now, residents I spoke to say when this all went down, they claimed there were no children in the immediate area. And a warning for folks out there, the video we're about to show you might be disturbing to some. Well, take a look here. This is back last Thursday, so about a week ago, residents at this complex say a dog was wandering around their complex and was reported to Corona Animal Services by their apartment manager. Sandra, who I talked to, who recorded this video, said she had hoped the dog would be taken safely to a shelter, but she says that's not what happened. Initially, you can see 2 handlers using what appears to be catch poles to restrain the dog. The dog appears to be convulsing or jerking its body, and eventually a 3rd officer comes into the picture, and at some point you can see them dragging the dog out of a gated area. Well, some residents I spoke to say the dog never acted aggressively and should have been treated with more care.
I was crying in tears when I was watching it because it was just the way they were approaching the dog and the way they got the dog. It was just really hard to watch. I just seen a lot of blood right here and him washing it off. So that's how I know the dog got injured.
Well, the Corona Animal Shelter shared this response on their social media platform, saying the large dog was inside a children's play yard at a child care facility and, quote, behaving aggressively. They also said the dog was, quote, transported safely to the shelter and examined by staff and, quote, found to be uninjured. They also say they remain committed to transparency and humane animal care. Well, back here live at Corona, they also say the city stressing that if they do not find the owner of that dog, they say that dog will be put up for adoption starting January 24th. But again, the residents I spoke to, they believe the dog was not acting aggressively. So we'll have to see and wait what happens. Bringing live in Corona tonight, I'm Rachel Aragon. I'll send it back to you.
Rachel, I'm going to ask you a question. I just want our viewers to know that we do understand that there is a delay between the two of us, so just bear with us. But I just saw that video for the first time. That is heart-wrenching and would make someone cry. No question about that. Do we know what kind of a dog this is? It looks to be a golden retriever.
I asked that very question to the residents. She did not know, but that she did acknowledge it was a larger dog. She did also acknowledge it was barking, but she said from leading up to when those officers were called, she again claims that the dog was just wandering around and not being aggressive.
Oh, God, it's so hard to watch. Well, I hope that what they're saying is true, that the dog is okay, and hope that it finds a healthy, safe home. Rachel, thank you so much. Live look outside. That is from atop Mount Wilson, and I'm sure you noticed a change in the weather. I noticed it on my way into work today, which is in the, 1 o'clock hour. A significant shift in the temperatures. I felt it, Star Harvey.
Yeah, you and me both, and I think a lot of us did. I had a few people contact me like, what is going on out here? And, you know, I just let everybody know, just the same as we have here. Our high pressure system, it came in, and it did more than it possibly should have across the area for the last several days. It did keep our temperatures well above their averages, and so we do say goodbye to that system, and we are welcoming in a disturbance. Now, with this disturbance moving into our region, we are expecting that it will drop our temperatures significantly, noticeable if you have plans on being outdoors from over the weekend into this week. And it's also going to bring in a chance for some rain. We have some visibility issues out there. You'll see here across our map, Santa Ana down to under 2 miles for visibility. Santa Monica right behind it at just about 3 miles. And we are expecting that our patchy fog will remain in place overnight and into tomorrow morning. Our temperatures right now, we're at 63 degrees in Whittier, Long Beach 57, 62 over in Ontario, Santa Monica 56, and up in Thousand Oaks we have a nice 62 degrees. Our winds haven't caused an issue so much today. In fact, they have retreated. We have them at about 2 to 5 miles per hour down near Manhattan Beach, kicking up at about 8 miles per hour. As we shift gears into our lows tonight, we're expecting to be in the 50s, as well as a few 40s scattered across the area as well. Our highs are dropping down near average, and the rain arrives on Thursday. More of that coming up. For now, Marla, back to you.
Okay, Star, thanks. Actor Timothy Busfield, known for roles in The West Wing and Field of Dreams, has been released from jail in New Mexico while awaiting trial on child sex abuse charges. A judge allowed his release under supervision pending the case. Busfield is accused of inappropriately touching 2 minors on the set of Fox's hit show The Cleaning Lady. He denies the allegations, calling them lies. Prosecutors argue the evidence is strong, while his attorneys claim the accusations are financially motivated. And the woman you were seeing there crying, that is his wife, Melissa Gilbert. On to this. Former Dodgers player Yasiel Puig is facing serious legal trouble. Federal prosecutors say he placed almost 900 bets with an illegal gambling operation in 2019, losing close to $283,000, and then lied to investigators about it. The 35-year-old is charged with obstruction of justice and making false statements, which could lead to up to 20 years in prison if convicted. His trial began today. Guns in public spaces up next. The Supreme Court is weighing in on a controversial law, but how could their decision impact gun rules in our state? We'll break it all down. That's next. In a terrifying scene at a Pomona laundromat, an armed man with a machete confronts a teenager and leaves quite a bit of destruction behind. Plus, a legal showdown at Santa Anita Park, while the racetrack is taking on the California Department of Justice after a dramatic seizure of betting machines. New at 9, Santa Anita Park is suing the California Department of Justice after state officials seized over 25 betting machines from the racetrack without a warrant. According to a complaint filed in Los Angeles Superior Court, the machines used for a 3x3 wagering system are at the center of a legal dispute over their validity. Santa Anita argues the state had ample time to raise concerns but took drastic action instead. A frightening incident in Pomona as a man armed with a machete, you see him here, you cannot miss him. He storms into a laundromat threatening a teenage boy and breaking glass. Fox 11's Gina Silva is in Pomona with more.
What started as a routine morning at this laundromat in Pomona turned into chaos, and it was all captured on video.
I think that he was on drugs, highly erratic, very aggressive.
Armed with a machete, this man storms into Super Wash and Dry on Fairplex Drive in Pomona on Saturday morning, yelling at the owner's 16-year-old son.
He was just saying a lot of, I think it was like F the West Side or something like that.
The armed intruder appears enraged, targeting the teenager because he's wearing a red 49ers jersey.
Well, he did point out to my son when he kind of turned the corner here, and he told him to get that red shirt off.
Customers begin to run as they realize there's a lunatic with a machete inside the laundromat, making threats and swinging the weapon.
I had a couple customers on that side locking the building, and then I don't have a deadbolt on this side of the building, so I had to hold those doors shut. And so he came up to the door and continued on with the same rhetoric from before about the red, since I had a red hat on at the time, and decided to take a swing at the window.
The glass shatters, and he continues ranting, then makes what appears to be gang signs before finally walking away.
It was very crazy. It's very scary, but then again, people are like cracked out, doing Lord knows what on the street.
By Tuesday afternoon, Pomona police are back at Super Wash and Dry, downloading security video to help identify the suspect.
To me, that was nothing but drugs.
If you recognize him, contact the Pomona Police Department. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
Well, new tonight, the Supreme Court seems ready to strike down California's law banning guns in stores and restaurants. The law requires business owners to give explicit consent for firearms on their property. Gun rights advocates, backed by the Trump administration, argue it violates the Second Amendment. Critics say it protects property rights. Justices appear divided, but the conservative majority leans toward overturning the law. A final decision could reshape gun carry rules in 5 Democratic-led states, including ours and Hawaii. All right, Fox 11, have you heard, is co-hosting a gubernatorial debate. We're teaming up with our Bay Area sister station, KTVU, and the Black Action Alliance to host the race for California governor debate. It's scheduled for Tuesday, February 3rd in San Francisco. You can watch it live on Fox 11 from 5:30 to 8. You can stream it on the Fox local app. I am serving as one of 3 moderators. And we do want to hear from you. You can scan the QR code to submit a question for the candidates. You can also find more information online at foxla.com.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Okay, we're going to go climb back up the mountain, and that is Mount Wilson, and we're looking down, and it's a beautiful night, certainly cooler than what we've had the last several nights. Let's check in with meteorologist Star Harvey.
Yeah, quite lovely out there. We still continue with our dry conditions. Our skies are going to be mostly cloudy across a good portion of the region, and we'll also have some of that fog in place. We'll be getting rid of our high pressure system, which did bring our temperatures about 10 to 20 degrees above their averages for most of last week and over the weekend, and we'll be welcoming in a new system. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at how impressive our temperatures were even today, the last of this 70 to 80 degree business for a lot of us. Downtown LA, we hit the low 80s. We had some upper 70s across the Burbank area, down in Camarillo 70s, and then across that to Sandburg area near Frazier Park, we had temperatures in the 60s. Now, our disturbance is due to move in for us. It's currently sitting offshore. We'll see that motion moving our way as early as Wednesday. But again, it does have a push of clouds ahead of it for tomorrow. And as we move into Thursday is when we're anticipating the moisture to build in from this system. We're not talking much. It's not a major system moving across the area for the Southern California area. Now, once this system builds in on Thursday, we're likely to see the chance for that light rain, drizzle activity later in the day. So during the afternoon, moving into our evening hours, we do have another cycle of light showers to rain moving through on Friday. And then some of that possibly you'll see here with our rain chances lingering into our Saturday. I do believe as the system draws closer, we may see those rain chances jump up slightly, but the system will move on as we do push into the weekend, and it will cause some bigger disturbances over for our neighbors, so states east of the California area. Our 7-day forecast is going to not just show those precipitation chances as early as Thursday through the weekend, but also a drop in our temperatures. So across the LA Inland Orange County area, we'll have the 70s one more day, and then moving from Thursday into the start of our weekend, our temperatures will be backing down closer to their averages. Averages for the LA area, 69 degrees, so we'll be right around that. And as we do push into the following week, we do have another set of warmer conditions moving in, but also dry conditions will be back on the headlines, and we'll have plenty of sunshine as well. Let's go ahead and touch on the coast for this week. We don't have much fluctuation in those temperatures. In fact, we're expecting to be in the upper 60s for another day or two before that system arrives, maybe dipping our temperature slightly, but remaining in the 60s, however, through the end of our weekend. Back to you.
All right, Star, thanks. Netflix hits a record number of subscribers and rakes in over $1.5 billion in ad revenue. But that's not all. Coming up, the streaming giant is making a jaw-dropping multi-billion-dollar cash offer to buy HBO and Warner Brothers. Netflix hits a record 325 million subscribers worldwide. The streaming giant reported this milestone for late 2025. That's up from 301 million the year before. Netflix also brought in over 1.5 billion in ad revenue last year. Now looking ahead, the company plans to boost its content spending by 10% this year. Now this comes as Netflix is making a bold move, offering $27.75 per share in cash to buy HBO and Warner Brothers movie studio from Warner Brothers Discovery. In total, that's $72 billion. This comes after a previous lower offer that included stock. Meantime, CNN and other channels will spin off into a new company called Discovery Global. Paramount is also in the mix, offering $30 per share to buy all of Warner Brothers Discovery. Disney is gearing up to name a new CEO as Bob Iger prepares to step down at the end of the year. A new report from the LA Times indicates Parks chief Josh D'Amaro is seen as the front runner. However, streaming exec Dana Walden and others remain in the mix. With big challenges ahead, the board is under pressure to get this transition right. Well, still ahead, the nation's largest homeless count is underway tonight here in Los Angeles. We are with some of the volunteers helping in that count. We'll get a live report from Matthew Seedorf. Plus, President Trump is making waves, praising the economy and pushing a controversial plan to take control of Greenland, which is sparking a global debate. We'll tell you what Governor Newsom had to say about it.
across SoCal. This is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Happening tonight, the annual homeless count is underway across Los Angeles as Lassa faces major budget cuts and questions about whether the numbers match reality. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live right near Skid Row tonight with more on what you saw. Matthew.
Yeah, well, tonight volunteers are still coming in here and checking in, and they're going and getting their assignments, going out onto places like Skid Row, and tonight the count is on. The massive annual count underway across LA. Volunteers with Lassa hitting the streets, counting everyone they see, tents and RVs.
When proven solutions lose funding, homelessness doesn't stay flat. It may rise.
That warning from Lassa's interim CEO as the agency faces $300 million in budget cuts after an audit revealed a lack of transparency in their spending. After last year's audit, how do you respond to people that maybe feel like those budget cuts are justified?
Right. Well, we have an interim, an internal audit committee now at Lassa. We are really trying to be good stewards of people's money.
Here on Skid Row, this is just one of the encampments that we're seeing on a block that is full. Excuse me, guys. Can we talk to you for 30 seconds? One man speaking with us from inside a tent to hide his identity. How many people are in this tent?
About five of us in this one area.
They say homelessness is down.
Homelessness is up.
Lassa reports a decrease in homelessness the last 2 years in a row. But every person we meet on Skid Row says that doesn't match their reality.
I feel like it's more homeless people than it was before.
You feel like the city is giving you enough resources for help?
No, they've been all the money been stolen by everybody, banks, everybody, nursery, daycare, all that.
People that are not using the funds the way it's supposed to be used, get them out. We need good people with good consciousness.
We are doing more here to hold the system accountable, but we can't do it if you pull your dollars away.
City Council member Nithya Raman and Lassa pushing for more funds amidst the cuts.
No, it ain't down.
While LA's homeless are counted to see where in the city needs the most help. How do you think we get this fixed?
Help the community, help the people that really needs help.
Speaking with people on Skid Row, a lot of people do need that help. Interesting, Mayor Bass was supposed to be a speaker at tonight's kickoff event for the homeless account. We were hoping to ask her some questions about the homeless issue across LA. For whatever reason, she didn't show up. Reporting live downtown tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
That is definitely newsworthy there. A no-show for Mayor Bass. We'll have to figure out why. In the meantime, really powerful stuff when you're talking to people who live there on Skid Row, Matthew. Did they say that they actually are approached by city or county workers offering services?
Yeah, so we've heard from people, and they say generally they are approached. You know, it does happen, but a lot of times that services might not be exactly what they're looking for. Also, the services that are being offered require sobriety, which some people aren't willing to do, or they've tried it before and it didn't work out. So it seems like there's just a list of issues that it's not working for everyone right now.
It's really complex because that's one of the things that we've seen time and time again, that they're just in many cases, they'd rather stay where they are. They're more comfortable there.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest questions and how to solve this. I mean, there's people out here that have been homeless for more than 15 years. They've tried, different housing scenarios. For whatever reason, at this point, they are choosing this option instead. Or, they're still battling with drug abuse issues.
Right, and mental health issues. Okay, Matthew, thank you so much. And there's this. LA County officially launches a new department aimed at tackling the homeless crisis. The goal is to give the Board of Supervisors better oversight of the money being spent on homelessness. Fox 11's Nick Garcia explains how this new department will work.
Homelessness is a top issue in Los Angeles County, and now the LA County Board of Supervisors says the answer is a new Department of Homeless Services and Housing, headed by Sarah Mahan.
We are making the county's response clearer, faster, and more accountable to the people and to the communities that we serve.
Supervisors Catherine Barger and Lindsay Horvath worked to get the new department started after failures within the LA Homeless Services Authority.
We aren't just standing up a new department to take all the problems that existed at Lassa and bring them over here. We are trying to untangle the mess and make sure that we're starting out with a clean slate and doing the things that work.
Depending on where that request is for, it'll go to the appropriate staff person here.
The new department is asking the Board of Supervisors to approve a hefty budget, more than $820 million, much of it from Measure A, an increase to sales tax passed by voters in 2024. But now the public will be able to track where the money is going through online dashboards.
Accountability now ends with the board. We are bringing in the money as it relates to the measure, and it's important for us to recognize that the buck is going to stop with us.
Every dollar spent on housing, care, and other services will be overseen by the Board of Supervisors, and the department vows to keep the public informed.
So you can see how many people are moving off the streets, how many people with serious mental illness and substance use are going into housing, and we'll continue to roll out that kind of information.
Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
President Trump took to the podium earlier today in the White House briefing room for about 2 hours as he concludes the first year of his second term, saying the economy is strong and inflation lower.
Inherited high numbers and we brought them way down.
While the economy was a focus of his campaign, foreign affairs are now topping the headlines, from the capture of the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, to the president's call for the U.S. to take control over Greenland.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
When it comes to things like Greenland and our alliances, he cares more about what it means to him. For him to get the Nobel Peace Prize, he will end up making you all pay at the grocery store. And if it gets to it, he'll make our sons and daughters pay in war.
President Trump now threatening to impose new 10% tariffs against 8 European nations that have rallied around Denmark. European Union officials say the EU is considering countermeasures. President Trump's dispute with European leaders over Greenland sent shockwaves through the markets today. The Dow dropped 871 points, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ both fell by more than 2%. California Governor Gavin Newsom is getting involved in the back and forth between President Trump and Europe. He's in Davos, Switzerland for the annual World Economic Forum. Today, he weighed in on the president's threats about taking over Greenland, telling European leaders to stand up to the president.
Can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes that are being given away. I mean, it's just pathetic. And I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing.
This morning, the president of the European Commission called the president's tariff threats over Greenland a mistake. A lawsuit aimed at limiting ICE operations remains pending in the courts tonight after the state pushed back on ICE raids that have sparked widespread protesting. As tensions continue to mount, the Trump administration is standing firm and defending federal agents. Fox's Chelsea Torres has the story.
Do not talk to them! Cell phone video captures ICE agents escorting a Minnesota man out of his home in his underwear in sub-freezing conditions. The man, a U.S. citizen with no criminal record, mistakenly taken by ICE in what Homeland Security described as a, quote, targeted operation aimed at arresting 2 convicted sex offenders.
They just take me out there without any clothes on, my guns and watch everything.
More than an hour after being taken, the man was let go. It's a practice the president's border czar is defending.
Let's make it clear. ICE can detain a U.S. citizen if they have probable cause.
But it comes amid heightened tensions across the Twin Cities metro area, with even law enforcement officers calling for ICE to be held accountable. Police leadership alleging several off-duty officers have been racially profiled and stopped without cause.
We're calling to action that we have more supervision over the surge, that this type of civil rights violations have to stop.
Border Patrol's Gregory Bavino pushed back on those claims.
Our operations are lawful. They're targeted and they're focused
on individuals who pose a serious threat to this community.
Meanwhile, the Justice Department served multiple grand jury subpoenas to state Democratic officials Tuesday. Those named include the Minneapolis mayor, Minnesota governor, and the state's attorney general. All are being probed as part of an immigration obstruction investigation. Both the mayor and governor have called the subpoenas an intimidation tactic aimed at sparking fears to those defending the community. In Minneapolis, Chelsea Torres, Fox News.
Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha are expecting their fourth child. The couple announced earlier today that Usha, 40, is pregnant with a baby boy due in late July. This will be the first time a sitting second lady gives birth while in office. The Vances already have 3 children, Ewan, Vivek, and Mirabelle. Historically, 2 first ladies, Frances Cleveland and Jackie Kennedy, gave birth while their husbands were in the White House. Congratulations to them. Big changes are ahead for international visitors coming to Los Angeles for the World Cup. Up next, new visa rules are raising questions. We'll break it all down. Plus, a dazzling display, stunning colors captured in a 5-hour time lapse over Northern California. This was just last night. We will show you more of this breathtaking footage.
Well, as we move into the rest of this week, we are expecting temperatures to drop down. They're tumbling a good 10 to 15 degrees. We're also looking at the chance for some rain arriving as early as Thursday. I have all of those details and more coming up.
The Red Cross is facing a critical blood shortage this winter and needs your help. Donate blood by January 25th and you'll be entered to win a trip for 2 to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara. Plus, donations between January 26th and February 28th come with a $20 gift card. Super Bowl is February 8th. We'll see if the Rams make it. Happening this weekend, the Rams are taking on the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship. Fox 11 will be airing this game on Sunday. Kickoff is at 3:30. Well, Los Angeles gets ready for the upcoming World Cup. New visa requirements are confusing some of the international visitors planning to come our way. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reports from SoFi Stadium, where 8 FIFA World Cup matches will be held this summer.
La Plaza will serve as Casa Mexico.
Mayor Karen Bass announcing that downtown LA's Plaza de Cultura y Artes will serve as Mexico's hospitality house for the world in LA.
It's going to be a community-centered, cultural, and free space open to everyone.
The big announcement coming a day before the U.S. begins a freeze on visas processing for 75 countries, including several that already qualified for the World Cup, like Brazil.
Will be difficult for a lot of us in Brazil to come to U.S. They are a little bit afraid to the situation right now.
The editor of LA's Sol Brazil magazine worries about a proposed U.S. rule which would require reviewing an applicant's social media history going back 10 years, including emails for 5 years.
Security and hospitality can and will coexist.
That message from the executive director for the White House Task Force on the World Cup, who says the system offering expedited tourist visa appointments will be running by the end of January. Short-term stays are not affected by the visa freeze going into effect tomorrow. What do all these visa requirement changes mean for World Cup visitors? Silva says that for people coming from his country,
I believe that the Brazilians will come, but not in the way that they usually goes before for all the World Cups in the past.
Some advice here, well, check the country's status first. What visa is needed, it depends on that nation. Apply as early as possible, of course. Remember that, FIFA ticket holders may get priority for interview appointments as a FIFA pass. And, of course, though, the World Cup ticket does not guarantee the U.S. entry. 8 of the games will actually be played right here at SoFi Stadium. We'll keep you updated on the visa changes. I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
A light show overnight for Northern California. Look at this time-lapse video. Started about 1 this morning. It's of the incredible Aurora Borealis. This camera is on top of a mountain near the California-Oregon state line. This time-lapse covers 5 hours of pretty incredible colors lighting up the sky due to the geomagnetic solar storm. Oh, I could watch that all night. That's on the bucket list for sure, to be able to witness that in person. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Star Harvey, now. Have you seen that live?
No, unfortunately, I haven't. The closer I got to Canada when I was over on the East Coast, I was like, this is going to be the year. Right. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen, but I will make my way to see the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis before, I'd say. I'm going to give myself 7 years to get it done, and I'll report back to you guys. As for what's happening down here, we have a lot of cloud cover, but we also have some of that patchy fog across Southern California. More so, our temperatures are cooling off as we do head through the remainder of our week here. As early as tomorrow, if you have those outdoor plans, if you have to step out, go to your cars, get to work, drop the little ones off at school, you will notice that those temperatures a lot cooler than where we were over the weekend, but also getting this work week started. As we move towards Thursday and stretching into portions of Saturday morning, we are looking at a chance for some light rain, but also the chance for some drizzle moving through the area for some of us. And then as we head into next week, we're going to dry things back out. Sunshine will be back in store for us, but we're also going to see those temperatures warming right back up above their averages. Across the LA area today, temperatures did come in once again in the lower 80s. Typically, we're at about 68 degrees, so still well above where we are typically at. But the last day this week that most of us will see those 80-degree temperatures. We also had some 80s out to the east of us, and and then down into our low deserts. Our high deserts, they've been hanging around Lancaster, Palmdale in the 60s, and we had some 70s along our coastline. So stretching from our LA County beaches all the way through Long Beach, South Bay there, and down into Orange County. As we make our way through this evening, again, clouds out there. Some of you may be experiencing some of that visibility issue. The patchy fog should still be in place as we make our way into the early morning hours of tomorrow. This is a look at noon when we are expecting to have our cloud cover expanded across the area. We're still dry moving into tomorrow, but as we arrive at Thursday, we are seeing that wave of precipitation make its way into the region. Our disturbance moving through should arrive for us again during the afternoon into the evening hours. Thursday bringing in about a 20% chance of precipitation. We will see about a 10% chance of rain sticking around, not just for our Friday, but also into our Saturday. And it's not a major rainmaker. In fact, our 5-day rain outlook is indicating that across the area where we do show some of these green hues at, we're expecting to see about 1/10 of an inch or less. A lot of us will see a lot less than that. Some of us do remain dry through this event. Now, as far as those temperatures, they're also coming down. You heard me mention it earlier today. As early as tomorrow, LA leaving behind the 80s, dropping down into the 70s by Thursday as well as Friday. Our temperatures will be closer to their averages again, which is 68 degrees. And then as we get through the weekend, the back half of the weekend and into early next week, we will have sunshine back in place, dry conditions back in place, but we also will get a beautiful warm up there. Not much happening with our temperatures across the coast. We are expecting to be in the 60s tomorrow. In fact, the fluctuation will not really be there. We'll remain in the 60s at least into the first half of our weekend. Back to you.
All right, Star, thank you. Fender and Habitat for Humanity are turning wildfire recovery into music by creating guitars from trees damaged in the Eaton fire. These one-of-a-kind instruments are being auctioned to help rebuild homes and support families in the San Gabriel Valley. Bidding is open now. It ends February 4th, with bids already reaching $7,200. America's past is taking flight. Coming up, a plane carrying rare historic documents is touring the country, and it's making a stop here in Los Angeles. We'll let you know when.